Hey there, today I have a review of the Boxed Heroes mystery box that I received last month, September 2021. And this was the box, if you remember, I won X-Men 244, and I've gone through the entire mystery box and I've graded all 10 books, so let's see how they turned out. All right, so this is a store review video, but it's a review of any source really, any source for comic books, whether it's a local comic shop, an online store, a mystery box, auction house, and all of those things. Wherever you can find comic books, wherever you get them. This is a review of the books that I received from that source. This is not a grading review. This is not a screening. It is more about looking at the books that I got and looking at the results and seeing how the overall grades that I applied to each book, how it averages out, and then how that source really grades out over time when you're getting a lot of books from those sources and comparing it to other online stores. So I'm going to switch my camera here and show you again some of the books that we got in the mystery box, and then also what grades they got, and you can kind of see how the overall score worked out here. So this was the winning prize. This was the second prize that I got in the mystery box of all time. And with this one, it ended up getting a 7.5. So very fine minus on this one. It had some color breaking spine ticks in here. I guess the nice thing is this book was not pressed. So it definitely has the ability to get some improvement there. It was not pressed out. To me, it was almost like the book was laying on a bag of pennies. I don't really know how else to describe it, but there's some circular dents all throughout the front and back cover. So this one could certainly be pressed out and improved on. Spawn 321, this was a new book, got a 9.8. Web of Spider-Man 26. This was, again, one of those older books. This is from 1987. It got an 8.5, also has the ability to be improved with a press there. Same sort of thing, although not as many color-breaking spine ticks as the X-Men 244. A little bit of a color issue there, color rub or dirt. But for the most part, just general waviness on an older book. This was a gorgeous book, this Catwoman 35 Jenny Frison variant. This one got a 9.8. I had to be careful when I was taking this out of the bag because the cover is so glossy. It is definitely susceptible to fingerprints and other things, so I had to use a tissue to actually pull it out, or you could have used some gloves. But this one got a 9.8, one of the newer books. Dark Ages #1. Also, this one did not get a 9.8, actually. This had a little bit of color rub on the back, so I had to give it a 9.6, but still a fun book and a fun cover to have. This Ant-Man #5 was a book from several years ago. Gave it a 9.4. It has some issue with along the spine that I think can be pressed, but it got a 9.4. So I don't consider that to be a new book, whereas this book is new. This Demon Days Cursed Web, another Frison cover. This one did, got a 9.6 with an indication for press again. So missed out on a couple of those new books landing a 9.8. This one did get a 9.8. This is Secret Files Miracle Molly #1. That got the 9.8 there on a brand new book. Batman 113. This one too got the 9.8. It is another new book wrapping up or nearly wrapping up the James Tinney and Jorge Jimenez run on Batman. And then the last book I got, this was interesting. This is Excalibur 12. This is a $1 or $2 book. Cover price has this as like $2.12, fair market value raw. But I gave this one a 9.6. I don't think it can get a 9.8. I don't think it can be pressed up into a 9.8, but didn't really have a lot of the waviness. Like it felt like it had been stored in a nice bag and board this entire time. So this was a really great book in a great condition. Who doesn't love Alan Davis, written by Chris Claremont? Fantastic book there, and this is the part 1 of 9, so they had planned out 9 parts, and I love this, that the 9 parts were part of the main book. I really am not a huge fan of all of these 5-issue miniseries floating all over the place. Like, if you've got these great ideas for series, put them in the main story. It's awesome. And this is the way they did it. This is the way Claremont did it. So Kitty Pryde, Lockheed on the cover there. But 9.6 for this book came out in 1989. So let me show you the stats here. So this is the breakdown of the entire order, and overall, this order from Boxed Heroes got a 9.34, and 4 out of the 10 got a 9.8, so that's 40%. Now, two of them were very close. The Cursed Web 9.6, Demon Days, and the Dark Ages #1. Again, Dark Ages had a little bit of color rub on the back in two different spots, and I just couldn't, in good conscience, give that a 9.8. And then the Demon Days Cursed Web one, I feel like it could be pressed. There was just a little bit of an issue around the spine that I feel like it could be pressed out. So had the opportunity to get a 60% of a 9.8, but went with the 4 out of 10 here. So in this case, I got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 6 new books. Normally it's a 50-50 split where you're getting 5 new books and 5 older. So 6-4 still close to split down the middle. But maybe it was because I was had a prize in the box. I don't really know exactly. But typically the 5 new books are in that 9.8, 9.6 range, and then the books that I would consider to be older or not brand new, not part of the September release or even August release, around the month that the mystery box is put together. The books that come in around that release time are 9.8, 9.6. Very rarely is it a 9.4. And then any books that don't fall into that category are in a lesser grade. So as an example, we had the 7.5 X-Men 244, the 8.5 on the Web of Spider-Man, and then 9.4 on the Ant-Man, and lastly, again, the 9.6 on Excalibur 12, which was surprisingly high, and that's great. So let's flip over and look and see where Boxed Heroes stands on the overall ledger. So I have personally graded 147 books from Boxed Heroes, and they have an average grade of 9.1163. So this particular mystery box that I received in September 2021 was above average, not only in average grade, but in the chance to get a 9.8. They're sitting at about 35%, somewhere around a 1 in 3 or a 2 in 5 chance. And with it being a 40% for this past mystery box shipment, this is obviously higher. Right next to it, you'll see, let me just explain this real quick. The total CGC 9.8 and the fact that this is 2. What happens is if there are any books that I get from any source, and I take that book and I send it to CGC and I get a 9.8, or if I'm buying a 9.8 slab directly from the source, then I count it as my total CGC 9.8. So that's the way that I track when I'm looking at all my slabs, like where did the most of my slabs come from, whether I purchased them slabbed or if I purchased a book that ended up being slabbed. I like to track that. So the 2 that I got from Boxed Heroes, one was a prize winner. It was like my second or third box ever. I got a Spider-Gwen #1 Signature Series CGC 9.8 from a prize. And then I did purchase their premium mystery box. They had kind of a one-off special premium box. It was quite expensive, but I ended up getting a CGC 9.8 Signature Series book out of that as well. So that's where those 2 come from there. So again, the interesting thing here is the average grade is low. If you look right above it at Midtown, there's a 37% chance of getting a 9.8 from Midtown. But the average grade of books from Midtown is 9.4322. That's 0.32 above Boxed Heroes, but they're roughly the same chance to get a 9.8. Again, that's because you're getting, or at least I was in my orders from Midtown, you were getting new releases or close to new release books, whereas Boxed Heroes, you're getting that mix of older books. Now, is that fair? Is it a fair comparison? That's up for debate. I welcome that debate. I welcome that argument. To me, it's all relative. So if you're looking at a mystery box from Boxed Heroes, they only have one kind. They only have the kind that you're getting a mix of new books and older books. There's no new release mystery box, and there's no vintage or Bronze Age mystery box from Boxed Heroes. You get what you get from them, and it's a nice mixture, and I like it. And that's the average results, is that sort of 9.1, 9.2 average grade, roughly around that near mint minus area. And you get the 35% chance, 1 in 3 maybe 3 or 4 books out of the whole mystery box, you can kind of guarantee those are going to be 9/8. Uh, Out of all the books that I've graded from Box Heroes, any of the books that I gave that were raw that I gave a 9.8, those were all new. I have yet to receive an older book, again, a non-new release book in a 9.8. That Excalibur one at a 9.6, that may be the highest grade I've ever received. So the question is, would you have paid for that X-Men 244 in a 7.5? Would you have spent as much as you would have spent on the mystery box? Would you have spent it on X-Men 244 in a 7.5? Maybe, probably, depends. Close. And those are sort of the things that you have to think about with the mystery box. I don't subscribe to a lot of mystery boxes. I'm not a mystery box connoisseur, but I do subscribe to Box Heroes because it's fun. And I like to have a little fun. It's thrilling. You kind of get it in the mail. You don't know what's inside. You could see my unboxing of the mystery boxes, and it's kind of fun to see what you get. And when you get a prize, it's cool. Is it super cost efficient? You can be the judge of that. You can run your numbers. You can look at my numbers and kind of come to your own conclusions. I have thought about taking the money I spend on Box Heroes and applying it towards a key book every month. But some of the key books are getting out of hand. So, it's hard to track down a really, really desirable key for the 30, 40, 45 bucks that you're spending on a mystery box. So, it kind of depends. I feel like the grass is greener if you're like, man, I'd like to take a chance at a prize. So I think my money's more well spent on a mystery box. But then if you cut out the mystery box, maybe you just buy a key directly. So again, it comes down to fun. So for me, the fun of the mystery box and getting it each month is totally worth it. So there you go. That's the review. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Happy collecting, and see you next time.